Good day and welcome back to the podcast Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Katuk. I hope that your heart is filled. I hope that your mind is clear. And I hope that your walk is good. The journey before us is always a good one when we believe it will be. There may be difficulties on that journey. Doesn't mean it won't be a good journey. If we learn what we need to learn when things are difficult, we may not have to relearn them. We may not have to live through that difficulty again. There's always ways to see it different and appreciate what it is that's in front of us. Think about a person who typically sees things differently than you do. Think about ways in which those differences might be useful to you, like another alternative idea. The reason I say that is because sometimes I have said to people, there's always at least 3 ways of seeing something. There's his point of view, there's her point of view, and then somewhere in between is the truth. I use this type of example, which I've used before, because getting people's idea that think different than we do, we will begin to think different than what we do. Now, if your thinking is the highest there is of any conscious level, you can't learn anymore. All you can do is teach, then you're where you are. So be it. Now, for me, I know I have much to learn. I can learn through people who have disdain. I can learn from people I don't like. I can learn from people who have a different opinion than I do. Will it change my opinion? Maybe, maybe not. It will allow me to see things differently when I listen to other people. I've used this example before of a musician when I was younger saying he doesn't listen to anyone else's music because he doesn't want to be influenced by it. Now, to this way of thinking, that means that he can only be influenced by the music he's heard up to this point. He thinks he can only be influenced by himself. That would be like someone today saying, I don't want to be influenced by other people. My way of thinking works. I know it. I get it. I understand. And believing that you're the highest power of all and that you know all and you have all, which may be true for some of you, maybe a lot of you, I don't know. What I do know is that I want to learn from you. And I want to learn from everyone. And I want to be conscious that people that are like-minded to me can keep me getting to know my higher self because they reassure me that I'm on the right track. And then I have people that are not like-minded to me that give me an entirely different idea. Now, I may not agree with them 100% because they think different than I do, and I just don't agree with that way of thinking. What they do is they challenge my thinking. Now, when you challenge my thinking and get me to see it differently, now I can change. Now I have an ability to be able to get to know my higher self once again, to a different level, in a different way. I am continuing to rise. I'm continuing to ascend. I am seeing it differently. I want to be able to feel different than what I did. I need you to impact me. I need to be able to be around people, to interact with people, to disagree with someone that I agreed with in the past when that statement was made, and vice versa. Someone that I agreed with, something that I agreed with in the past, I don't agree with anymore. I can change all of it. I can interchange it. And I can learn to get to know my higher self. I understand that I have a commitment to the universe and to Mother Earth and to the Creator and to all. In other words, that's all. Mitakuye Oyasin. All of my relations. And I need to be able to find a way to listen to you, know that you're right. I may not even agree with you. It doesn't mean you're wrong because I don't agree with you. It just means we don't agree. You're right for you. You may be right for me in the future. You may have been right to me in the past. And you may be changing the way I think. The reason I think it's important for me to change the way that I think so I can change how I feel, so I can have new experiences in this lifetime, so that my humanness gets me through in a good way today. It's about me being able to treat you in a good way. When I don't agree with you, to respect you and say, I don't agree with you and I appreciate your opinion. And then I leave that situation and think, maybe it was meant like this. It wasn't meant to offend me. It wasn't meant to say anything derogatory about me. I can see it differently now. I need to continue to see things from your point of view when you make that approach. I need to listen, see what's valid, see what's not valid, see where we can go with it. The changes that I make in my life are important to me. Can you allow me to continue to change? Can you respect me when I realize that I think different than I used to and I don't do the same things I used to do and I'm not thinking like a 16-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old. I don't see the world the way I did when I was those ages. I see the world through my eyes. I was speaking with someone at work, an executive, the other day, and I told him I only have my own experience and I only can see it through my eyes. And this is what I see. And I shared with him a little bit, and he's like, well, talk a little further. I'm like, I'm not trying to talk anybody in or out of anything. I don't need to necessarily talk about it more. I'm just sharing my experience. And he's like, oh, we will talk about it more. And then the conversation continued. And what was interesting is I don't know that anything will change because of what I said. I don't know that he will take it any further, whether he'll think about it again, whether he will have a conversation with someone else. What he did, though, is he sat and listened to what I had to say and realized I have a valid point from my point of view. Now, he doesn't have the same point of view because I'm not an executive. He is. He has different experiences having gotten there. I do what I do in the entertainment business. This is just what it is. One's just different than the other. And I think that we can both learn from each other. I don't think that he left that conversation thinking his way of thinking before that conversation is 100% right. And I know I left that situation knowing my thinking before that conversation isn't the same as my thinking after that conversation. This is what I'm talking about, being able to interact with someone when we have two different ideas and both of us leave with different ideas than what we came in with. This is what will allow me to be able to think different and feel different, is to be open-minded to a conversation about anything in the world. And you can maybe change my point of view. What you can do is change my way of thinking for the moment. I may go back to the same point of view I had prior to. Now I have a different perspective of it. My perception of what you had said had changed something. It changed something in me. Now it changes my way of thinking. It changes how I feel. I don't know how much you want to change how you feel. You may always be okay with how you feel. every moment of your life, you know that your thinking is correct, your way of seeing things in the world is correct, your way of feeling is exactly how you want to feel from this day forward. Now, I know I've done some work to be able to continue to change how I feel, because I'll go down a rabbit hole. And part of it is I had some experiences that really shattered some things in my life. And because I was broken into a million pieces and shattered emotionally at different times, I'm rather broken as I put that back together. And there's cracks in it, and it's flawed. And that's good, I think. I think it's good that I've had life experiences that have been difficult for me, emotionally difficult, physically difficult, psychologically difficult. Not understanding things, not understanding why somebody did something, not understanding. I don't need to understand, and some of it I don't want to understand. And that's okay. I can move through it, continuing to change. Knowing I don't have to understand everything. Knowing that I can continue to see things different. I can continue to respect you, your opinions, and at times, my opinion may come closer to what your opinion was because of what you shared with me. Think about a person who typically sees things differently than you do. Think about ways in which those differences might be useful to you. Again, I reiterate this because the differences that we have with other people can be our greatest stepping stone. They can become a cornerstone. And maybe not. Maybe those differences will never come together because they're that different, and morally we are different enough where it's not going to be where I can think like you do. And maybe you're going to flip the script and you're going to get me to think totally different than I ever have before. If I think I'm open-minded, I may be missing something because I could be more open-minded. I may be closed-minded as soon as I think that I'm open-minded because I'm missing something and I can't see what it is. Because the doorway I just passed, I didn't know was there. I need to walk through that doorway. I need to find the doorway I didn't know was there, and I need to find a way to walk through it. I need to find a way to walk out of the darkness and into the light. From a soul's point of view, as much as anything. And from a soul's point of view, I have much to learn. I am forever a student. I'm a student to you. You are my teacher. I am here to learn. I said that to an elder one time, and he said, I'm here to unlearn. So through this process of listening to this podcast, I hope you can unlearn some old ideas that you need to get out of your head and make room for new ideas by being able to get some old ideas out of your head and unlearning what it is that you don't need any longer. The things that don't serve you, leave behind. The things that do serve your soul and serve your mind, serve your body in a good way, grab hold of today. Utilize them to the best of your ability. Show them to others so others can learn from you. And realize that you may be the greatest experience that anyone could have at any given moment. Share your experience with others. It will be appreciated. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world.